designed to review writing thesis statements. You can get this Nearpod link in your folder in Schoology. So our objectives for thesis statement learning is to work with your partner to identify what a prompt is asking you to do, analyze thesis statements for accuracy, and write thesis statements in response to a prompt. So do not also forget that, I'm not sure why it's doubling up on that. Okay. But also, don't forget that I had, in your week 4 weekly resources, I also provided notes. So you should have your thesis statement notes here. And when you click on that, you should open this. The directions are, please add your notes from the video in my lecture. Use these notes as a template, however, you'll need to add your own. Bold, italics, basically you are adding your own personality to your notes and how you would like to organize it. And also, don't forget you'll need to write main ideas on the left side and summarize at the bottom. Here is what the notes look like. And when I play this video, you'll see a little bit. I'm only going to play a few seconds of it, but you'll see how the notes are written and you can follow along.
Young ninja writer in training. If you want to become a writing ninja, you... How to write a thesis statement. What is a thesis statement? The thesis statement summarizes your position on the topic of your paper.
So you can see here, a thesis statement summarizes your position on the topic of a paper, and it tells the reader what your paper is about. So you'll see that here.
The thesis acts as a roadmap for your readers. It tells them what the paper is about.
And again right here, and it tells the reader what your paper is about.
It also helps you organize your paper.
And you can write that in here. That's why I leave a big blank space. So while you are following along with these notes, you can add your own notes. And you should add your own notes.
How long should the thesis statement be? It is usually 1 to 2 sentences long. Where should the thesis statement be in the paper? It should be the last sentence of your introduction. How do I write a thesis statement? Use a thesis formula. Claim your position plus reason, evidence equals thesis statement.
And don't forget, in this section I added topic, so you also need a topic. So let's not forget you need your topic, claim, and position, or topic, claim, and reason. All right, and that's about the amount of video I'm going to do. But what I expect you to do is, for example, make these notes your own. I would bold this out. And I know this is the most important part of, for me, I like to use bold as something that stands out so that I know what I'm looking for. So my main idea right here, or you can write questions, I would put, what is a thesis statement? And what I would do, and you can move these about, right? So for my question, I would bold, and then just because I would add, there's the answer, all right? So you have the opportunity to make these notes your own. All right, so next you have a little quiz. Make sure you pair up take your notes and also remember what's in the video and start doing the matching game. So how long is a thesis statement? That's the question. And the answer will be, it is usually 1 to 2 sentences. Question, what is a 3-point thesis statement? Again, you can find that on your notes here. Here's a 1-point thesis statement and here's a 3-point thesis statement. and it's the strongest kind of thesis statement. So let me see if I can find that answer. Right here. All right, pretty good. All right, so go ahead and finish that quiz. So we want to just review some of the facts here. It's a one sentence, appears at the intro paragraph, consists of your opinion on the topic, has an effective statement that responds directly to your prompt, and reasons you list turn into thesis statements. The reasons you list in your thesis statement will turn into your body paragraphs, and I'll do a video on that, the next one. But here you go. And you should add some more information. I don't think I added that last bullet. Okay, I would add these two. An effective statement, thesis statement, responds directly to the prompt and also the reasons, so that way I know. All right, so your assignments in this particular one is that you're being asked to read a prompt and discuss with your partner, by yourself, what the prompt is specifically asking you to do, and then highlight the words and phrases that help you focus on instruction. Now, if you remember, I also have this as an assignment for this week. All right, and if you go to your weekly resources in week 4, here is you are to choose one of these, or you only have one showing up in your week 3. As I'm the teacher, I have various examples. But let me go to this 2.0 prompt thesis and critique. Okay, this is your assignment for week 3. For those of you who, week 4, sorry, for those of you who haven't completed this. All right, so here's what the prompt is asking you to do. Read the prompt, highlight the words, phrases that help you determine the specific instructions. Use a text box to write a one-sentence summary. So what you're supposed to do is get a highlighter, and number 1, you need to highlight the words and phrases that help you determine the specific instructions. So this is what you need to do first. Okay? So let me highlight the words. Okay, I see kids and grandparents, kids, parents, grandparents, talk about the good old days. Okay. Is this just a figment imaginary thought in older people's minds as they remember their youth? So we're talking about older people and youth. Was life really better 20 or 40 years ago? What do you think of this statement? Is life for teens harder now or when your parents and grandparents were young? And then it asks us, now write an essay explaining your answer to this question. So it doesn't tell you which question. So you got to look at these other questions. Older people's minds, is it a figment of imagination? Older people's minds as they remember their youth? Or was life really better 20 or 40 years ago? Or what do you think of this statement? So there's a lot of, is life for teens harder now or when your parents and grandparents were young? So there's a lot of questions in here. So I'm going to use my skills of narrowing down this question, and I'm going to say, so you always want to start with this sentence starter. This prompt is asking me to compare and contrast today's youth to older generations. Older generations such as parents and grandparents. All right, there you go. So that is what the prompt is asking you to do. So remember, that was what our assignment was. It asks us to highlight words and phrases that help you determine specific instructions. I know when I see repeated words, kids, youth, grandparents, old people, it's about something about age, parents, grandparents, teens. So I highlighted all those keywords, and then I determined specific instructions. I can see that they're asking based on the questions and based on the good old days, and also was life really better then versus now. So I'm going to now, number 2, use a text box to write a 1-sentence summary of the prompt. So here's my answer. This prompt is asking me to compare and contrast today's youth to older generations, such as parents and grandparents, all right? And make sure you submit that. Oops, what's going on? A little slow here. Oh no, there we go. Okay. Now we have another prompt. So you're doing the same thing here. Highlight words and phrases that help you determine the specific instructions. Use a text box to write a 1-sentence summary. So you do the same thing here. And I'm just going to skip to this next one. Let me see. Let me just go through this one really quick. I can see philosophers, philosophy, philosophy. So I know this is asking me something about philosophy, written books, meaning of life, life. What do you think the most important ideas in your life? Sorry if I'm just mumbling, I'm just trying to get through it really quickly. So I would say, after reviewing this, I would write a quick sentence here and say, this prompt is asking me to explain my philosophy of life and how it affects my outlook. And some prompts, this one is easier to identify than the last one because it explicitly says it. Write an essay explaining your philosophy of life and your outlook, versus the other one where you kind of had to summarize or collect information to put a sentence together. So this one is pretty straightforward. This prompt is asking me to explain my philosophy of life and how it affects the outlook. Now, here's the example I showed in here in your week 4 assignment, week 4 thesis statement homework. So you're following these steps. So in this step 1, you're identifying the prompt just like we did in the last 2 slides by highlighting the words and write a 1-sentence summary of what the prompt is instructing to do. So that's just step 1. So I would say, okay, driving under the influence. Let's use the same color. I noticed teenagers driving under the influence of alcohol or being a passenger in a car driven by another teen. I can see they're talking about teens a lot based on here. Who has had too much alcohol? Also alcohol. There's a lot of alcohol words here. How can the number of alcohol-related deaths be reduced? And this is a question. Think of some solutions you and your friends could implement to solve this problem. What do you think would work to reduce the deaths? And then so it says solutions. Now write an essay proposing some solutions to help stop teenagers from risking their lives and driving under the influence of alcohol. So now it's telling me directly, write an essay proposing solutions to help stop teenagers risking their lives and driving under the influence. So if you can see on your homework, I did write this. This prompt is asking me to share solutions on teen, underage, DUI, and drinking. And that's all you do. So in your homework, you have a prompt here. Now your job is to go through and highlight keywords. There are a number of accidents caused by elderly people on a daily basis, and they drive too slow. They turn into a lane, missing the car in their blind spot. According to some people, elderly drivers should be required to apply for a driver. So what is this prompt asking you to do? You do the same thing that we've been doing. You start with this. The prompt is asking me. So that's all you're identifying in step 1. Do not answer the prompt. So I'm not asking you to say, I think the way we stop underage drinking